Well, wasn't that incredible, ladies and gentlemen? That's so, so inspirational. The Kennel Club Hero Dog of the Year 2022. And now, ladies and gentlemen, presenter and broadcaster Nikki Campbell enters the wonderful world of guide dogs.
This video uses archive footage and voiceover to look back at guide dogs' history and highlight the importance of our amazing puppy raisers.
It all started in 1931 in a lock-up garage in Merseyside. Two innovative women, Muriel Crook and Rosamond Bond, started training dogs to support servicemen who had lost their sight in the First World War. Within 3 years, we'd formed the Guide Dogs for the Blind Association. In 1956, we began recruiting volunteers to raise our puppies.
Caption: puppy raisers like Pat allow us to offer life-changing services. Pat is interviewed.
It's really good for me to get out and about, but it's lovely to see other people's faces. People walk past and just smile at you, and it lifts other people's spirits as well as your own, so it's a really special thing
Clockwise.
to do. It's good fun. We've met loads of new friends
Clockwise.
and doing something really worthwhile for blind people for the future.
Caption: without the amazing support of puppy raisers, we wouldn't be able to offer our life-changing services.
To raise happier, healthier dogs, we began our own breeding programme in 1960. And from the mid-1990s, we began offering training to help people develop new skills. We opened our state-of-the-art National Breeding Centre in 2011, helping us welcome over 1,000 little life changers each year. In 2020, faced with the global COVID pandemic, we embraced technology and new ways of working to take many of our services virtual, helping to keep the people we support safe but connected, and developing and modernising our regional centres, whilst recruiting and training more frontline staff, so that we can increase our capacity and reduce waiting times.
Old black and white footage transitions into matching colour footage from today.
We're so incredibly proud of what we've achieved over the last 90 years. But every day, 250 more people join the 2 million already living with sight loss, and this number is set to double by 2050. Sight loss isn't going away, but neither are we. We plan to double the amount of support we provide by 2023, helping people with sight loss live actively, independently, and well.
The Guide Dogs logo.
Oh, this is such a fabulous organisation. I absolutely love these guys, and I think you're going to love them as well. It's fascinating. Welcome to the wonderful world of guide dogs. It takes an incredible experience being here, but let's do this. It's an absolute pleasure to be here doing this, and I cannot wait to find out more. Bit of history. In 1931, two pioneering women, Muriel Crook and Rosamond Bond, began training dogs to support servicemen who'd lost their sight in the Great War. 4 brave veterans and 4 amazing dogs, Judy, Flash, Folly, and Meta, and we paid tribute to those dogs. They became the first guide dog partnerships in the UK, and during the 90 years since then, ladies and gentlemen, Guide Dogs has gone on to partner more than 36,000 people with these life-changing guide dogs. Incredible, isn't it? And there's always that incredible, telepathy, working in harmony. It's a familiar sight to all of us, but each partnership is unique. And what unites them all is the bond of trust. You know about trust with your dog. This is different level. It really is. And it's vital for long-lasting and successful partnerships that are created.
My name is Dave Kent, and I've been a guide dog owner for the better part of 43 years now. This is my best mate and my current guide, Faldo. Faldo is number 10 in a line of illustrious guides that have preceded him. And to get Faldo and dogs like Faldo to the exceedingly high standard that they are is a whole backstory that makes up this amazing partnership. Now that backstory includes guide dog breeders, guide dog puppy raisers, veterinary care staff, guide dog trainers, in fact, a veritable cornucopia of volunteers that make this whole operation the wonderful organization that it is. And we wouldn't be able to do it without people like you, volunteers, people who contribute to guide dogs. But to take a closer look and find out how we get to this stage, let's take a closer look.
Cornucopia, what a great word. But we'll be with you a little bit later on, Dave. Yeah, hi, Tim.
Evening, Nikki. I'm Tim Bloomfield, breeding dog advisor, and I'm going to talk to you and everyone here about Guide Dog's world-class breeding program.
So basically, you are a puppy midwife. Like, what a job. What an amazing job.
Absolutely.
So, what do you do and what have you got here?
Well, with me today, I've got one of our guide dog dads in front of me, lovely German Shepherd Brody, and volunteer owner Steve. We also have, just in front of me there, guide dog mum Vixen. Give us a wave. Vixen, if you're that clever. And her volunteer owner Sophie.
Yeah, now Brody is, what a handsome boy, aren't you, Brody? Hey,
He's
Brody.
not bad.
He lit my face earlier on. I was hoping for a repeat
did, he
performance. Yeah. So I'm a father of 4. Brody is a father of
34. Yeah, slightly more, yes, 34. Yeah, he's actually lived with me since he was about 8 weeks of age. He's the 16th puppy that we puppy raised for guide dogs, but right from birth he was earmarked as a prospective breeding dog. So when he was 14 months of age, he was actually given a full medical examination, which he passed with flying colours,
Wow.
and he was moved over to our breeding scheme. We changed our role from puppy raisers to stud dog holders, meaning that Brody can continue to live with me, which he does as a family dog, unless his services are needed at the breeding centre.
Yeah.
At which point I will drop him off. He will have a couple of days to get very friendly with a specifically chosen young lady. And I pick him up then about 2 days later, very tired, but very happy.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yes, no, well, I used to know the feeling. but the thing is, I mean, he has a great time. We know what goes on there. It's a beautiful thing. But the whole process, it's really detailed, really meticulous, and really incredibly focused, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, a lot of work goes into it. Our breeding dogs live at home with our volunteers, very much like a pet dog would.
Yeah.
They come to the National Centre for Mating, and all the pups are born in volunteers' homes.
Yeah.
It's a world-class program. Every successful guide dog needs the very best genetics, partnered with the very best upbringing. It's a case of nature and nurture.
Well, look, a fine example of a German Shepherd. He's smiling. He's loving that. So what other breeds do you use to produce guide dogs?
Absolutely. As you say, lovely German Shepherds, Labradors and Golden Retrievers too. Those 3 remain our most common pure breeds. We do use curly coat retrievers,
right,
and some standard poodles too. The Labrador Retriever crossbreed is our most successful working dog.
So how do you decide which dog goes with, or as my girls would say at home, which dog gets with which dog?
Yeah, very
gets
good question.
With. That's the word. Yeah.
Well, being responsible and ethical breeders,
yeah,
we know, if you like, the extended family tree of each of our dogs. So this helps us decide which dogs should and shouldn't be bred together. It's from these matches that we have the best possible chance of producing healthy pups that will go on to be life-changing guide dogs. Mums like Vixen over there are looked after very carefully, and our team know when Vixen is at the optimum point in her season and will want to mate. Brody, being a boy, will always be ready to mate.
Brody is always ready. Put your hands together for Brody. He's always ready. What a beauty. Hannah, hi. On you go.
Hi, Nikki. I'm Hannah, and I'm a training and behaviour consultant with the breeding team. And we're going to show you a pregnancy scan now with Vixen.
So, yeah, and we're going to see something very, very special with Vixen, aren't we?
We are indeed. So Vixen here is performing a chin rest. And the chin rest is like a conversation between the dog and the handler, and it allows our dogs to have choice during their daily and veterinary care. So what we can see here is that when Vixen places her chin on the towel, that's her cue to Sophie that she's happy to be touched. If she was to lift her chin, that's her cue to say, just give me a minute, I just might need to check my environment before I go again. We do see her lifting her chin here periodically. That's just because she's practicing, and Sophie's told her she's done a successful repetition and a food reward's coming.
She's so calm, beautifully calm and wonderfully laid. Look at her. She's like getting a wonderful massage or something.
Indeed.
It's like that, isn't it? Yeah. Do you do that with all the dogs?
We do indeed. It's something all of the dogs enjoy. It's an important part of our training program, so all of our dogs will be taught the chin rest or other similar behaviors to allow them to participate in daily and veterinary care. So it makes everyday things like grooming much more fun, and things like vet visits much less stressful for everybody involved. It's also a great behaviour to hand over to our guide dog owners, so they can do the dog's daily care at home and truly work in partnership with the dog. So what we've seen is Vixen having a practice, and now Kim, our breeding dog advisor, has come in to perform the pregnancy scan. So please could we have the pregnancy scan footage on the big screen?
There we are. I remember that. Yeah, so what exactly are we looking at there?
So if you just look at the screen there at the black round circles, they're puppies. We tend to scan the puppies, the mums, halfway through their pregnancy, just to try and give an estimate of how many puppies they might be due. We also scan them in their home environments when they're most comfortable.
And that's obviously a scan we made earlier on, because we wouldn't have a pregnant dog in this particular situation. But it's an amazing thing. And oh look, she's looking wonderful. And I remember the scan because we had puppies with my West Highland Terrier, and I was probably as excited about that scan as I was with the other scans.
It's very exciting.
It's a terrible thing to admit in front of an audience, isn't it? Yeah.
A little
bit.
But
look, she's looking wonderful in her whelping bed, Sophie. And I understand that guide dog mums live at home with volunteers like you full-time give birth at home wherever possible. So why is that?
So home is where Vixen is most familiar and happy, and it's really important that she should feel as comfortable as possible during the birth. Now, clearly, Vixen does all the hard work, but we're there to make her feel safe and happy and chilled and relaxed during the process. For the puppies themselves, we know that early socialization period is absolutely critical, so rearing them in the home allows them to experience all the sights and smells and sounds they're going to need to become great guide dogs in the future.
And what's it like looking after a guide dog mum? Look at her. Beautiful.
Well, I would say it's absolutely amazing. I mean, who here wouldn't want to live in a house full of puppies? Honestly, it's an absolute privilege, and with all the support that guide dogs give us, honestly, I can't tell you, it's the best thing to do ever.
Oh, it sounds it. It's beautiful. And thank you all so much for explaining this so well as well, the whole journey. So, Vixen, thank you very much indeed. Can you give the breeding team a big round of applause? Hey, Joan.
Hi, I'm Joan. I'm the National Puppy Development Lead. And if we walk this way...
National Puppy Development Lead, that sounds like another fantastic job.
It is amazing. I'm very lucky, definitely.
So, when the puppies leave their mum, they go to live in the homes of volunteer puppy raisers, don't they? So, what do we have here?
Well, first of all, we've got Lucy over here. She's our puppy development advisor, and we've got two of our puppy raisers. And Lucy, her job is to support them throughout the time that they have the puppies. So over here we've got Denise with Pebbles, and over there we have Andy with Parker. And Denise is a training in a home environment, if you like, because we do a lot of training at home, and we prepare them for outside, but also to teach them to be well behaved at home, because we don't want really mischievous puppies. It can be a bit of a safety risk. Mm-hmm. And then Andy over there, she's doing a confidence course with Parker, and again she's preparing Parker for life, because as you can imagine, guide dogs have to be really calm and confident in a wide variety of different situations, and unexpected unexpected things can happen at any time. So what we're trying to do is we create a positive association with new things. So actually new things aren't that scary, but they're quite fun.
So it's play and work, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I mean, you can see the everyday objects over there.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And this is all part of our prep program, Puppy Raising for Excellent Partnerships.
Yeah. It's quite a lot for a young dog to take in, a puppy to take in.
It is, and that's why we've got that program for them to help support them and the puppies, basically. And the program is based on 4 principles. So the first one is knowing your puppy. So every puppy is an individual, and our puppy raisers know their puppies really well. And what they do is, while they're working with them, they're constantly reading their body language. And for example, if Parker here would be a little bit apprehensive or not sure about something, then Andy would just give him time to work through it and reinforce behaviors that we would like to see. So when he's confident and calm and go in and explore, basically. So that's actually the second pillar, which is teaching. So we reinforce the behaviors that we would like to see with toys and treats and anything a dog actually really enjoys. And then the other pillar is managing. We manage the environment and we try to set it up for success. So we actually invite the dogs to show us the behaviors that we would like to see. So again, that we can then reinforce them. And then lastly, building strong partnerships. As you can imagine, later on in life, they need to build that really strong partnership. So our guys here work on creating that bond of trust. And that means being their advocate and setting them up for positive experiences and trying to avoid negative experiences.
And being a volunteer to do this. Who would
amazing.
like to be a volunteer and do that?
And we are definitely looking for more puppy raisers.
Yeah.
So if anybody out here thinks this sounds brilliant, which it is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. So please come check our website or come and find us, because everybody's welcome. We need people, definitely.
Right, let's hear it for the puppy volunteers, the puppy raisers. Fantastic. Oh, so all these wonderful dogs over here. Sarah, hi, what have we got going on here?
Hi, Nikki. I'm Sarah, and I'm a training and behavior consultant. And basically, I'm going to be showing you how we create these amazing life changes with the help of some of my colleagues. We have Gemma with Pippa, the golden retriever. We've got Chris and Biscuit, the lab retriever cross. And then my helpers, Kelly and Rachel.
Yeah, okay, so how do you train a guide dog?
Good question. So what we basically do is we use reward-based training. We train 37 different behaviors to make a fully fledged guide dog. And those behaviors are split up into 3 different sections. So we've got core behaviors, which is the behaviors that underpin all of our training. So ensuring that our dogs are going to be able to go into different environments and be able to focus on their job. Then we've got non-working behaviors, which are the behaviors that our dogs do when they're on their lead and collar, so not in harness. And then we've got our working behaviors, which are the ones that our dogs are famous for.
Like what? Self-control?
So self-control is actually one of our core behaviors, and this is what Gemma and Chris are currently practicing. So you might be able to see we've actually got bits and pieces of the dog's daily food allowance.
Can I stop you there? I've got a 14-year-old, very nearly 14-year-old, delightful, wonderful, who's my best friend, Labrador Retriever, Maxwell, and nothing would stop him going for a discarded sandwich on the pavement. Nothing.
Absolutely.
So how do you deal with that?
I'm the same with chocolate, to be honest. But yeah, absolutely. So we start off really, really simple. So we've got the dog's daily allowance, food allowance, on the floor.
Yeah.
And we're teaching the dogs to actually be just really lazy around food.
Wow.
So food comes to them. They don't need to go towards the food. So basically, think of an emperor being fed grapes. That's basically our guide dogs. So we'll start off with a normal kibble on the floor. You can see Kelly's got a toy in her hand, so then we'll bring in toys. We'll then work up to human food, so those discarded sandwiches or litter, we'll bring all that in. So we have been known to raid some bins in our time.
I bet you have. It's fantastic. So what is the significance of the platforms?
Okay, so yeah, so the rectangular pieces of things on the floor. They are our platforms. Our dogs learn that these platforms are the best place to be. So basically, they learn that every time they get to a platform, they're going to get something nice, whether that's a toy, a food reward. It makes things very, very predictable, but also it actually leads on to other behaviors. So we can teach the dogs positioning. So obviously, when they are out with our guide dog owners, they actually need to always be straight with the handler, so the handler knows where they're going. So we can actually teach that on the platform by teaching the dogs even to keep their bum straight, their shoulders, and their head. So it links into so many other different things.
So the self-control, and I guess there's also non-working behaviors as well.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the guys are going to demonstrate for you now one of our non-working behaviors. This is the behavior under, and this basically is really, really useful for when our guide dog owners are in restaurants, cafes, on public transport. It gets them in a really nice tucked position, and it prevents those precious tails and paws getting trodden on.
Isn't that brilliant? How does the guide dog owner know what the guide dog is doing?
So that brings us over to our working behavior. So we'll walk over to where Nicola is with guide dog India. So you can see we've got our famous white harness. And basically what we do is, before we talk about how a guide dog owner uses it, I need to talk about actually the associations that we use with these white harnesses. We want our dogs to really enjoy their job. So we teach our dogs to actually voluntarily put their head through their harness themselves rather than us put it on them. It creates a really, really positive association for the dog, but also it actually gives an element of choice.
Choice. That's really interesting. So what the concept of that, giving a dog the opportunity to choose something or not. Some people might think, well, what if they choose not to work?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, we found the opposite. Actually, the more choice we're giving our dogs to engage or not with training, we're actually finding the more that they will engage because we teach them games. We make the training really, really fun and enjoyable to do. And at the end of the day, that's going to create happy trainers and happy dogs.
Yeah, so what else? What else do you treat them? Treat them. Give me a treat. I want a treat. What else is a part of their training?
Okay, so one of their main jobs is to find locations. So you see we've got a crossing box here with India and Nicola. And basically what Nicola's doing is she's charging up the location. And by that I mean she's making that location a really, really positive place to be, using a hand target and feeding the dog at the location. Once she's done that, what she'll do is just build up her distance between herself and the location, and then be able to end up working India to the platform.
That's amazing.
And then what she will do is she'll pick up her handle, and it's the handle that gives the guide dog owner all the information that they need. So that is attached to the dog's shoulders, and she'll be able to feel the movement of the dog's shoulders through that handle.
Yeah, another big thing which has occurred to me is the clutter you get on pavements, and also cars parked up on pavements. And during lockdown, everyone was outside the restaurants and outside the pubs, so they have to learn how to deal with all that, don't they?
Absolutely. So one of the other major roles that our dogs have is obstacle avoidance.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you how we would initially start teaching that. So obviously we've got a lovely location here that India really wants to get to. And what we will end up doing is show India what distance she needs to give between each obstacle and her owner. And we'll do that just by moving her ourselves, and we'll end up being able to, she will learn the width of her owner.
The what?
Yes.
The width and the height of...
The width and the height, absolutely. So we also teach the dogs, I know this sounds a bit weird, but we teach them to look up.
Right.
If you think about it, it's not a natural behavior for our dogs to actually look above themselves, but obviously when they are working with a guide dog owner, they need to be assessing their environment all of the time. So they need to be aware of everything around them. So that might be an overhanging branch, it may be scaffolding, and basically what we'll do is we'll build all of that into an obstacle course like you see here. So we will build 1 obstacle, 2 obstacles, 3 obstacles, then we'll introduce some height, and then we will take it out into the environment and generalize that behavior.
Yeah, so it's so clever, it's unbelievable, it really is. So There are a lot of treats going on there, I've got to say.
Yes.
You know, right, which is good positive reinforcement.
It's positive reinforcement, and also these dogs, I mean, certainly our training dogs, they've only been in training 8 weeks, can you believe? And all of these positive associations is they've never been to Crufts before. So for them, working in this environment is absolutely amazing. So yes,
me too.
We've upped we've upped the reinforcement, but we would gradually tailor that off.
Fantastic, Sarah. So what happens next? What's the next stage?
So after they've learned all 37 behaviours and we've generalised it to all different environments, then what we will do is we'll match the dog with a new owner. They will be trained together. That usually takes about 5 weeks. And then until that they can be independently travelling. And then they will walk off into the sunset together.
Happy?
As you can see, India going off with Nicola now over to Dave.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much indeed. I am completely in awe of that. That was brilliant. Thank you. Right, and now to meet the dog owner who started the show. Please welcome an amazing guy, Dave Kent, and his wonderful dog, Faldo. Hey.
How are you doing?
Good. We've had a great chat this afternoon about...
Well, we've had a bit of a chat,
this, that, and the other, haven't we? Yeah.
This, that, and the other.
It's been brilliant.
Mostly about guide dogs.
Yeah, that's right. Tell us about how many dogs have you had?
So, Faldo is my 10th guide dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10th. He's, obviously he's number one, obviously, but he is actually a tremendous guide. I got my first guide dog when I was 18. I had some surgery that was supposed to give me more vision, but unfortunately it went the other way, and now I see absolutely nothing at all. I don't see light or dark, and I've been fortunate. It's one of life's kind of joys to be supported by a dog like Faldo, working and living in central London and kind of weaving his magic with his harness on. He's just brilliant. Underground, overground.
Wandering free.
Yeah.
Don't start. You're dating yourself and me. So the thing is, though, in our chats this afternoon, you've had 10 guide dogs, Dave. I must tell everyone, it's been a bit of an emotional roller coaster, talking about the friends that you've lost. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, you know, one of the beautiful joys of having a guide dog is when you're matched with the dog and the work that the dog goes on to kind of support you with. But there comes a time where you have to say bye-bye to the dog, and you don't do this once, you do it twice. Once when the dog retires, when he takes his harness off and he doesn't work anymore, he's a normal civilian dog, and the other time, of course, when the dog goes night-nights. But what is amazing is every time you take those first tentative steps out with your new dog, and doing it with a kind of a blind trust and a blind faith is really quite special. And my life has been informed, and my life has been absolutely nourished by guide dogs. And the best thing of all, the most wonderful thing is this would not be possible without the help from people like you here today who choose to contribute to guide dogs and give in many different ways that allows me, Nicky, and people like me to live the life that I choose.
And that is what it's all about. Dave, Faldo, everyone, thank you. It's been wonderful. Give you a round of applause to the incredible dogs. The next time you see one of these amazing dogs, you'll know just how much professionalism and how much love has gone into it. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, everybody.